My name is John Sharp, and I'm the Ed Tech trainer at Tempe High School. And Melissa Schaefer is joining me today. Melissa, I actually took over for this textbook just a couple weeks ago, and Melissa has actually been working with it a little bit longer. So she's going to provide some of the support for this webinar, and I greatly appreciate it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. You all are math teachers. I just want to check, right? And make sure that you're teaching Algebra 1, Algebra 2, or Geometry. So what we're going to do is first I'm going to show you how to access the textbooks. Have you ever used a digital textbook before?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that we probably could save a little bit of time, but you know that you just go to the Tempe Union website, you log in as staff. You can actually go in on the student tab too, and it'll automatically authenticate you. But you can go in and click on the HMH link under the staff page. That will open up your version of the HMH textbook. So I just want to share with you quickly. We do have resources available, and you may have already seen these. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Then I'm going to let Melissa kind of do her magic. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you should be able to, in a second or two, to be able to see my screen. And I will share these in the chat section, the links to this. And what it does is it does show you how to get to the Houghton Mifflin Harcourt textbook. If you have not activated the book for this semester, which would be the second half of the year, of course, you will have to activate the book. So you will go in there, and there is a process to activate it. If this is your first time, then you would click on this close button, and then you follow these steps. You would click on Manage Classes, which is a button there, then Activate Products. And then you would select the subject. This box would then appear, and you would select the subject, which yours would be mathematics. And then you would click on the search button. And what that'll do is it'll bring up all the mathematics books. So you would want to check on any of those courses that you teach. So if you are in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, you could go ahead and just select them all if you'd like. And then what happens from there, you create links to the different sections in your courses. So if you look here, you'll notice there's S1 and S2, and you would only need to be cognizant and check off the S2 boxes if you have not already done this. So in this case, there are 3 S2 that you would need to check off in order to link these books to that particular section and period. Okay. And then once you have done that, all you need to do is click on the Activate button, and that should activate those textbooks for your particular period math classes. Okay. And then that will take you into your dashboard. And I won't go into too much detail here, but I wanted to make you aware that there is a screenshot here. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the different functions that are available on your dashboard. And there's also a brief description, step-by-step description on how you can create or view assignments in your math text, okay? So I will, like I said, I will go ahead and I will share this example with you. This is for teacher access, and I will also share student access with you. Instead of going to the teacher section on tempeunion.org, they would go to the student section, and they would click on the Houghton Mifflin Harcourt image there, and then they would simply be required to log in with their Google account. I'm sorry, maybe I need to take a sip of water real quick. So they would log in with their Google account. That's their S number at stu.tempeunion.org. And then they would use their password that they use to log in with their other computer. When they log in normally to their computer at school. Okay, and that really is all that it takes to get them into the math textbook. Okay, I want to check in with you quickly just to make sure that seems really straightforward to you and understandable. And what I'll also do is I will put both of those in the chat section so that you have those available if you wanted to put them in your courses. Okay, I'll do that right now. Copy them right in. Okay, so there they are. You have the teacher access one and the student access one. Okay, Melissa's going to take over on the next part. She's going to kind of go through the dashboard with you, and she's going to give you some recommendations, especially if you haven't used the textbook very much in the past. And she'll kind of walk you through that, and then we're going to give you some ideas for being able to do lessons if you're using something like Google Meet or Zoom, so that you are able to work with students and have a whiteboard at your disposal to do so. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and I will give it over to Melissa and she will pick up from there.
Okay, just a second here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you should be able to see the login where I've just logged into the HMH. Is everyone able to see that? Or if you can't, just let me know. Okay.
Yes.
All right, awesome, thank you. So again, to access this site, the students, and actually you as a teacher, it's set up because it's based off your Gmail, you can go to tempeunion.org. So you don't have to sign in. You can click on student. This doesn't work for all the apps, but programs, but it does work for Houghton Mifflin. And then you just select the link or the button. And as long as you're signed into your Gmail, it will automatically take you in. If you are not, it will then request you and or a student to sign in using their student email address or teacher email address, TUHSD email address, and network password. So once you get into the site, is there anybody who has not activated? There's no judgment here. We're all at different spaces. I know a lot of the math teachers do their own work. Is there anyone who has not activated their account yet? You can just put, you know, something in there, or just let me know, because then I can go through and just show you a little bit more of those steps. We had a few in the last thing. A lot of people hadn't gone into the software yet. Okay. Okay. So for you, if you haven't, what you would do is once you log in, you just select my account, and that will take you to the activation page in the directions that John went over. So it looks like all of you have done that, but just in case, I just wanted you to know where that was located in the online textbook. So it's under my account.
I've experienced doing it in the past. It looks like Mark is ready to go, and Carolyn, I believe Carolyn said that she just needs to activate for geometry at this point.
Okay. So once you get into the textbook, there's a lot of information. We have a high school math tutor program. These are videos and things that the students can actually search on. And it'd be kind of like Khan Academy, and that will go over, and there's videos on how to do different math problems. We have your interactive teacher edition and your teacher resources. The interactive edition, it follows a path of like engage, explore, and different tasks that you can do. The students can go at their own pace. The teacher resources is a place where that you can go in and select different types of workbook pages that you want the students to do, different pamphlets, dittos, things like, well, dittos, am I talking old school? I remember those ditto machines, God darn it.
Me too.
I love Me too. Purple, you got to use that.
I love the machine that you just keep rolling it hand by hand. I remember that.
Okay, we're all showing our age here.
With that, and then the interactive student edition, so you can see what they see as well. With that, depending on the book you have, if you have more than one class in this area, you can select what book or textbook you're working from. Just depending. If you don't teach that subject, you probably won't have that book assigned to you. So if you're not a geometry teacher, it's not going to be assigned to you. For the layout. There's assignments. If you get to the point you can assign students assignments here within the book, some of those can just be online, intuitive type of assignments that will take them through the process, and they could show up here. The thing is, if you choose to do those, and you need to specifically let the students know in Schoology, please access the HMH online textbook, give them directions on how, and let them know that they need to click on the assignments area within the online text, and they can go through the assignments. So you need to be very specific about that. Again, there are online PDFs and Word things that you can download and just assign yourself some of those the copies of the material. So I'll show you where those are in just a second with that. What I like to do, and one of the highlights or features, especially now that we're getting students started, many students may not have gone into the online math HMH textbook. If they haven't, what you may want to do, because we're in that stage right now with students where we're just providing enrichment activities to get them familiar with the online text and working and doing school online, is if you go to Teacher Resources, it's going to bring up all different teacher edition materials that you can use for students. It starts out at the unit level, and then it drills down to the module and then the lesson. So for instance, if I wanted to do something on polynomials and fractions, I can select that. And once I select it at the unit level, you will see right here that it's going to provide things at a unit level, those types of activities. For instance, at the unit level, you can have a test. And these are done in like PDF. And there's a test A and B. So if you want to do like a pre and post and have the students work on that, again, this is at the unit level. And you see these materials. With this, at the unit test, like I said, it's a PDF. So you can select that link. It will bring up the PDF. If you would like, you can then download this to your desktop and then add the file in Schoology. I'm just going to download it so we can use it for later. Now desktop. Okay. So they'll have PDF versions. What they also have, and for some of the different versions of materials which you may like, is they have editable resources. So it'll start out like with PDF. If you scroll down, it will say TE is teacher edition, SE is student. So we have assessment resources. This one is editable. So I'm going to download just so you can see what it means. Hello. It's opening up. It's a little slow. I think the fact that the whole United States is on the internet right now, everything is much slower than usual.
Right. I think it's the world, actually.
Well, the world.
Uh-oh, I think Melissa got kicked out of the meeting.
Uh-oh. Not sure what happened right there. Sorry about that. I'm back in. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Not sure what happened right there.
I think you're going to need to reshare your screen again.
Okay, just a second. Sorry about that. Open. Okay. Enable. I'm going to bring this over here. The editable version brings it up in Word. You can enable editing. So let's say you're looking at this, you see a lot of different worksheets that you like, but you don't want certain questions. Maybe you want to change a number to it, but then you have to do the math problem, figure out the answer. That's up to you. You don't want me doing that for you because I'd probably flunk them all with this, but you can go in and you can edit this. The thing is, if you were to take, like, let's say I don't like Question Hind because it has a graphing stuff and I don't do graphing. I can delete it. But it does not change the numbers on here, so you would have to change it or just let the students know, you know, you're working on it, it's for enrichment. I'm not going to update the numbers. So I took out number 9, number 10, and 11, and 12. So you can edit. Actually, I wouldn't have to do a lot of these math problems if I took out all of the graphs. Anyway, so that's there for you if you want to edit the materials or certain types of questions. So just so you know what that is. And then you could upload that for students as well. So you have those options with that. And again, that's at the unit level. Then when you get down to the module level, they have, you're drilling down. So the other ones were at the unit level. Now we're going to get down to the different types of assignments. And what I like about this is as you start drilling down, this is within a specific module. Again, there's tests, but they have differentiated instruction. They have some challenge. So let's say you have students that you want to challenge them a little bit more. You can go through and find the challenge type of things for them. Also, maybe you're going to find that you have students that are struggling. So you can go here and then download and upload into Schoology or attach a file to those skill-based worksheets. They also have access to videos that will talk about the math and provide some instruction for them and how it applies to the real world. Like, why do we need math? I'm sure you get that all the time. So there's some videos that explain why or how you would use it in the real world.
And one thing interesting that you can do here, I'm just going to jump in for 1 second, is if you download several of those to your computer in Schoology, you could create a few assignments and individually assign those tasks to certain students in the classroom that you know may be struggling. And you could also attach maybe that enrichment activity to other students, that maybe a small group of students that are excelling in your class and maybe need a bit more challenge. So this is a great way to differentiate, for your students. Just by creating an assignment, you could input that document in there, maybe with a little bit of information about what they're studying there, and then you can individually assign at the bottom of that activity in Schoology. Okay, just something to think about.
And then when you get down to the lesson level, again, we have the reteach. So if students need help, additional help, what I like with the reteach is that it gives step-by-step for the students. It's not just here's the question. It gives an example for the student. So you don't necessarily have to be there all the time. So if they're freaking out, like, what do I do? The reteach lessons are more specific on skills, and they do the step-by-step and allow students to see how to do those questions. And they have something to refer back to because they don't necessarily have the whiteboard that you were writing on in class to refer back on those steps. So the reteach tools are really nice as well. Any questions on this material? Okay. Then I'm going to go back. So that's the teacher resources, and I'll show how you can individualize instruction to students as well if you were to upload it in Schoology, if you just want to assign certain types of materials to specific students versus just the whole class in just a minute. We also have the interactive teacher edition. And in here, this is something that it goes through a whole set of an item. So you can select an item and the student would go through. It starts out with engage. Then they would explore kind of like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And then it would explain the tasks of how to do that. And this is also for the students. So when you select, you can go down. And students can do this at their own pace. Some of these, they can go in, they can check their work, which is nice. And they have some examples and videos as well. So this one is a little more engaging for students if you want to have them go in and work on different activities. You can let them know, hey, I want you to go and work on lesson 6.2. And they could have the standards and resources with that. And it will also walk them through, like, here's a question. Here's an example. Tells them how to do it. There's a step-by-step. And we're not going to print with this. So this is an activity for students as well. So with this, again, you can do the hard copy. You can also do the interactive. The interactive online part is intuitive to the student. So based on how well the student is doing, it will either ask more questions or less questions. It could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes per segment, depending on what the student needs to do in the class and how well and how successful they are with those lessons. When it comes to assigning different work for students, if you have the information here, they'll have the assignments. And then just a second here. When you click on the assignments link, what it comes up to, it's not as pretty of an interface for students, but this is also where you can go in and assign students. When you click on assignments, on the back end, you would select your book that you're working in, your class period. I don't have a class period, so I can't do that for you right now. You would select the book, and you could say, I want to view all content or some content. And then what it has is this category. And this category area allows you to differentiate the type of assignment you want to look at or what you want to assign. With this, they have like daily intervention. This is a lot for the for tests and quizzes. Under that area, it would say, okay, I want, based off how well you're doing, every day I want you to come in and work on some of these activities. And then you can select the grade or the book that you're in. And it will do anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. I think it's 5 to 20. And that will just work with the students on specific tests. They have standard-based intervention, course intervention, and again, test, quizzes, homework. So those are things that you can do. These are more like the online interactive, they'll go at their own pace type of assignment. So you would select the assignment. And I'm not sure if it's going to let me do it now because I don't have a class. So then you would select submit, and it would have the dates. This is the hard part because we don't have all of the assignments that you have or the students in the classes. You would set the calendar start date and end date. And then you could select a passing grade. So you can set the parameters of if you want passing to be 65, 75, 85, or 95%. And when you submit these and you go through that process, where it's going to show up for the student, come on. As when you assign it, it will be down in this area. The student will then view their assignments and click on that and we'll get them started in this area. If you're doing the downloadable, type of paperwork, that's something that you can assign in Schoology and have them access it right then and there with that.
Melissa, I could show them how to individually assign if you'd like. I know you've been doing a lot of
How
talking.
to what?
How to individually assign by adding a document.
Oh, okay.
Totally up to you.
With that, did you have some questions here when you're looking at this? Is this something you've done before? Were there some questions that you have that I haven't answered? I'm sure you might have a few. Based off what I have access to, I'll be happy to answer them.
No questions.
Okay. So with regards to adding an assignment and downloading some of the PDFs and modifying it, I'd say starting out, that might be a way to get students online. If you haven't used this or your classroom hasn't used this online system, what you can do is one of your assignments could be, I want you to go in and access it. I want you to go around and click around and get familiar with the layout of the site and what it looks like to you. On your end, that would be an assignment for enrichment for the student. And then maybe they could provide some, information back or write, what they looked at or if they have questions. All right, John, did you want to show them?
Right, and it might be even great to have one sample assignment in there, like a virtual sample assignment that they could click on just to see what it would look like for them if you did decide to pursue that as we get into phase 2 of this online learning. Yes, I'm happy to. Would you both like to have me show you how you can individually assign to a specific group in Schoology? Okay, great. So what I'll do is, Melissa, if you can unshare. Okay.
I just did.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log into Schoology, and I'm just going to jump into one of my courses. And I'm just going to use this sample course right here. And maybe I'm going to put this into week 3 in my week 3 folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an assignment. Okay, I just clicked on add materials under this folder, and I'm going to add an assignment. Maybe. I think there's a hamster running on a wheel somewhere. Okay. So I'm just going to call this one sample math. Oops. Okay, and then maybe give them the instructions here. Please complete the following problems on the attached PDF worksheet. Okay, so at this point, you've just named the assignment and you've put in the description. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a file. So I know these are grayed out, so it's not super clear that they can be clicked on, but this left one here is a file. So what you do is you click on that. And that'll allow you, hopefully yours doesn't look like this. I've been doing a lot of screenshots lately, but hopefully you have yours in a documents file somewhere. And what you can do is look for the file that you wanted to attach to the document, okay? And in this case, I'll put anatomy of a student number in Tempe Union, okay? And I will click on that, and then I'll hit on open. And you'll notice that that document is now attached to this assignment, okay? And then you could fill out your due date here if you want to click on. And let's say you're assigning it on Monday of this week. So maybe you're going to give them till Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. And because we're kind of in this week where we're doing remediation and enrichment, you don't have to put any points for it.
Actually, you'll need to put in at least 1 point.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think
you do actually. And then it will, you could leave it in the ungraded category.
Or ungraded. Yeah.
Yeah, or ungraded, yeah. So if you do put a 0, you could put the ungraded category. And then when you come down here, this is where it's really cool. You can individually assign. See the 3 little circles down at the bottom? You can click on this. And what it'll do is it'll allow you to assign it to specific students in your class. So if you wanted to put it, maybe 3 different students that you thought that this activity would help, you would start by putting their name in. And I just started by putting the B in because I knew I wanted to add Beatrice. So I can do that. And then once you have all the names of all the students that you want to complete just this particular assignment, then you can go ahead and hit create. And what that'll do is it'll create an assignment in their version of Schoology that they would be assigned to. And it might just be for one student, or it might be for a small group of students, okay? But that's how you do the individually assign. It's just clicking on that and then assigning to specific students right there. Unfortunately, I only have 1 student in this class, so I can't add any more students, but what'll happen is you just need to start typing the first letter of their name, and then it will give you options, and then you can select from those options. And once you've done that, just click on create. And now you'll see that sample math assignment is in there, and it is only assigned to 1 student, okay? And that will be the only student that would see that on their, in this course folder on their dashboard. Okay. Just want to check in with you. Does that seem like it makes sense to you? But doing the individual assign, and it's really actually quite simple to do that. And it's a great way for you to differentiate for maybe the different levels of students in your classroom. Maybe you have a really high group that could do those enrichment type acts or challenge type activities, and maybe just the middle of the group could do the normal activities, and then you could use some of those remediation documents that are in the teacher resources for those students that may need a little more assistance, and actually have the guidance to walk them through some of those problems.
So this would be a good way to give tests so that different kids get different tests too. Just give them all different tests, so you could run 3 different versions in one class.
You absolutely could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you definitely would. Yeah, you'd be able to do that as well. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I know it's kind of difficult to try to teach math online, or even to do like a tutoring session with a small group of students. But I think if you're willing to like dive in, if you're interested in using Google Meet, which is what we're using right now as a form of interaction with your students, there's a lot of different resources that are available to you online. One of them is it's this whiteboard here, and it's at webwhiteboard.com, and it allows you to share a link with your students in the small group that you're working in. So you could put this link in the chat, and it gives you the ability to be working on this board, but it also gives the students that you're working with the ability to work on this board. So they could grab a different color pen, and they could be trying to work a problem while you're helping them. Okay, you can also do a lot of other really cool things on here. If you want, you could click on the A here, and it allows you to type on the screen. If you're not much into you can do that if you want to do that. You could add pictures. You can see if you were teaching a biology lesson in here, that you could pick a picture and be able to discuss it. And you'll notice that there are 3 different types of like sticky notes. So you can add sticky notes wherever you'd like. If you want to add one right here, this is the I don't even know what to put there. This is the back muscles. I'm kind of tired today, actually. I apologize for that. But you can put notes on here, and once you're done with the notes, you can delete them. The delete function usually works. Let me go ahead and I actually, what I did is I refreshed, and usually when I refresh, it'll let me remove those notes. But this is just one option for you. There are other whiteboard options, like if you wanted to explore another tool called Zoom, teachers can get a free subscription to Zoom, and it also has an interactive whiteboard where students and teachers could be working together at the same time using a whiteboard. But Google is great in this respect, that you can share your screen, and then you can give them the opportunity to be working on the same bulletin board or whiteboard as you are. So just wanted to give you one resource if you were interested in using that for math. Okay. So did either of you have any questions that you would like us to answer at this point?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, you're making this really easy on us.
Yeah.
This has been great, John.
We're not
Okay.
used to this. We're used
So that's great. I think it kind of gives you an overview of, the digital book. You do, again, have the ability to download those documents if you feel more comfortable putting them right into Schoology. But if you are ready to dive in, or maybe you have a little time this week to explore that digital option where you could assign right within the textbook, you can do that too. You just need to make sure that you're providing students with the instructions that they have to click on the HMH link under student in order to get to that digital textbook where they can do their work, okay?
I'm
Yeah,
a little concerned. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, yeah, the one thing that I found in the kids' textbooks, they have the QR codes at the beginning of each section.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy for the kids to access the Professor videos that go with the lessons and the worksheets. Also, they can print right off of the website, and they can use their QR scanners on their phones, and it sends them right to the website. So that's another way that they can access some of this stuff.
Okay, that's a
That's
great
great.
insight, and thank you for sharing that in the video.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And I was going to say, if there's some students that don't have access to printers and that, what some teachers are doing is having them view the document, the math page that you've uploaded as a file. They've written their questions down like old school on the sheet of paper, rewrote the question, and then took a picture and submitted that and turned that in if they had some questions that way as well. So that's something, just depending on students that may not have all of the access that other students have to technology. I'm not sure what schools you work with, and the students.
Okay, and keep in mind that this week is remediation, so remediation and enrichment. So we're just trying to do some activities to kind of get them ready up and online. And this is a hard adjustment for everybody, I'm sure, for teachers and for students. So try to be cognizant. I know there's a level of rigor that you always like to upkeep in your classes, but remember that you don't want to provide too much work for students to do in a given week until they've gotten the chance to really get online and get used to this whole process. Okay. Okay, great.
Many of my students haven't even gotten on. I've got about 42 out of all my kids. And what I sent out was to have them log in and join Khan Academy, and then just do a couple of videos and do some review work on point, line, plane, real simple stuff. Shouldn't take them long to do any of it. And I've had like 40 kids go and join, and out of those, I've had maybe 7 kids even start the work.
Okay. Well, one thing I will make you aware of is there's going to be an email coming out from the district today. Not all students have been able to pick up computers yet, because as you can imagine, distribution of those is actually quite intense. So they are going to be adding some additional pickup times for students. So I would give them a little more time, because maybe not every student has a computer at this point. And it might take them a little bit of time to get the free Cox internet if they are taking advantage of that too. So just to kind of keep that in mind. Remember, this is an enrichment week, but hopefully they'll all have their computers, by Monday of next week, and they'll all be online, or at least a good portion of them will be online, and they can start working with the new material. Okay.
And others may need to get internet access as well in their home, or they may have siblings as well that need to all share their computer. So there's, and then you just have the other ones that think this is an extra extended summer. Summer started early.
Caroline, did you try emailing them through their, through Synergy?
Yep, I emailed the students and the parents, and I put it on Schoology. I've done everything, and I've
Mhm.
only got
Okay, it sounds like you've made a really good faith effort there.
Mhm.
Yes, you've
And
done
now
your
I'm going to
part.
put the announcements up today on Schoology. Hopefully that'll do something and start putting some. Have them come meet me and hang out later. Meets later and see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carolyn, one
You're
thing
you're doing everything, so that's all you can
Yep.
do.
Carolyn, one thing to keep in mind, if you do an update in the computer or in Schoology, what I would recommend is when you click on that update and you put your post in there, there's a little, I guess there's this, there's like an icon right next to the post button. I want you to click on that. And what it'll do is it'll show a little bell. You'll want to put a check mark next to that bell. And then you can click post. And what that does is it puts the update at the top of the screen in each of your classes, okay? Because the students, when they log into Schoology, when they log into Schoology, they're not used to clicking on the updates on the left-hand menu to get the update. So if you do click on that little bell right next to the post button, it will automatically put your message at the top of the class. So it's kind of front and center where they can see it.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I have a question for you. Have either of you ever used Kami? Kami?
I have
No,
not.
I
I
haven't.
have not.
Okay, my girlfriend was telling me about Kami. They've used it with Canvas. I guess
Mhm.
it's supposed to be able to be used with Schoology now, where you can actually write on any PDF documents, and the students can write on their PDF documents and submit them back to you, so they
Right.
don't actually need paper.
Excellent.
So it
Well,
might be
Awesome.
something to look into.
I will definitely look into that this afternoon. That would be a great resource for everybody.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was
Thank you
telling
for
me about this
sharing.
earlier, and she says, "Well, I use it all the time when I'm going to use my smartboard, so I can just walk around with my tablet and I put it up there, and then kids don't have ways to turn things in, so they can write on it and turn it into me." And I'm like, "Oh, we got to look at this."
Yeah, definitely. I will take a look at that. Thank you for
Cami,
that.
huh? Cami. Okay.
Was that with a K or a C?
K
Again?
K
K.
A M I.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
AMI.
Perfect. All right. Well, I guess
Right.
if you don't have any more questions, we can go ahead and adjourn. I want to make sure.
Sign-in sheet today, or no?
Did you?
I got
Oh,
to
yeah,
wait.
there.
I think it is in there. If you go to the top of the chat screen, there is a sign in right there. I can put it in again if you'd like.
No, I can as long as it opens up. Let's see. No,
Sometimes
there's
it
login.
doesn't
Wait,
open.
wait. No, I got the login thing. Hold on.
Okay.
No, as far as I can get up is to where I asked about attendance.
Okay, I
Let me
actually
go any further.
I reposted it again at the
All right.
bottom. So you should be
Thanks,
able to
John.
do it. No worries.
All right, I'll
Thank you.
fill this out, and thanks a lot.
Thank you both for joining this webinar. Appreciate it, and good
Mhm.
luck. If you need any help this week, Melissa or I are available to help you. Okay, or your ed tech from your site.
Yes. We're here
Thank
for
you.
Good luck.
Thank you. We'll hunt you down, John.
you.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
I think I've had enough. Wednesday. can't do it.